Wait 1 second. Make sure I'm recording. I should be recording now. Wait 1 second. Okay. Hello and welcome back to Minecraft during Paradise Golden Age. This is my world tour, as I'm going to be doing a world tour. As this is episode 388? I'm pretty sure, yeah, it's 388. And I decided we're going to do a world tour, so we're going to hop into game mode C. Creative. Let's see. And also put some of my valuables so I don't accidentally delete them in my backpack. The shovels can go there. I guess that'd be easier to just shove it there. Okay, so hopefully you are all doing okay today and staying safe. So, we're going to be starting with our newest build that we've just started, and that is the southeastern lush cave, based on our other lush cave. That is basically, we're almost finished with the first lush cave, but I decided to make another lush cave, and it's turning out quite simple. Sorry, I forgot to pick up that later. Let's see. So it turned out pretty nice, the lush cave southeastern one. And over here we have our zoo, and the zoo's turned out quite well. We started the zoo, I think, on the 50th episode or the 90th episode, because we originally built this, but then it was too short, so I had to add a little bit of an extra block at the side, but don't tell anyone. And it's kind of very miscalculated, so if I did have to rebuild this or add a bit onto it, I would definitely add that one block to it, because it really needs it, as it's very miscounted by one block. But the gate idea did turn out pretty well. I decided to go with circle glass panes, kind of like Notre Dame over here, and it turned out pretty nice. I went with the pink coloured glass because that turned out quite well. We used to have a bunch of zoo cages over here, as this was our original zoo spot, but I recently just built a mountain here and just put a tree here also to add a bit of a theme to it. Sorry, I was adding the torch there, so to darken a bit. Okay, and we also recently rebuilt our tunnel that used to be just a 1x2 tunnel. Well, a 2x1 tunnel. And it's turned out quite good so far. Here's where we used to keep all the zoo animals before we built a zoo. So basically it's another spot, and this is when I brought Blueberry_WC, or Blueberrywolfcub, on, my sister, on to help me breed the horses together. I collected some horses, we had a lot of golden carrots in here. It was okay, but I had to go back a save because I lost all my shulker boxes. I should have just spawned them in, and that also deleted all the horses that we got. So I'm waiting for Blueberry to respawn them all in for me. Wanted to empty fist. And over here we have the original tunnel that led to the zoo area that I was keeping all the animal in. I was going to refurbish all of that one day. But over here we have the zoo, well, before zoo tunnel. It's more like a tunnel. But we have this tunnel over here that went through this little mound over here when we sliced this mountain, so we would have more room on this small little bit of land. I think, yeah, everything that's a beach over here, yeah, everything that's a beach. So basically all of this does not exist, and a lot of this over here is a river, as you can see. And when I built this, I think it was just a plain old tunnel. It took a little while to decide what shape I was going to go with, so I went with a kind of hexagon shape, but not really a hexagon shape. Over here we have, I think it's Burma. Yeah, Burma. Or is it? No wait, Kamba. Burma was my first elephant, and Mary was my second elephant, and Kamba is my third elephant, named after Cambodia. And this used to be her cage over here, but I changed that to over in the zoo. So I put them in the end cage over all the way over there, and then I later brought them to the zoo. And back on episode 350, we made our new sheep farm. The old sheep farm used to be just a hut. You can see where the original hut bit used to be, and it used to just be a bit of where this is the now. That used to all be cobblestone. It was a little slat roof kind of build. Kind of like that is there. But it's like that over here. And that looked pretty nice. And here we have Phil the farmer over here, who we built just before that. And we had to rebuild them due to the not 200. The 1.18 corruption, because I accidentally loaded up the world in 1.18 and then it broke the world, so I had to go back like 100 days to like 60 episodes worth backwards. So I had to rebuild Phil, the farmer. And then we have our cow pen, where we have cow 2, our second mushroom cow. I can't tell what one's which though. And cow 2 was our second cow, mushroom cow, that we got. Antenna died on the way when we were transporting it from the mushroom island. We were going through the mountains over here, and sadly they got blown up somewhere along this route over here. I think it's over here that they got blown up by a creeper. And here's our pig farm. It's went through a lot of different changes even after I think this was the last build that we worked on before the 1.18 corruption. And this one turned out a lot better than the last one. We added Podzol to act like mud. We're also playing in 1.12.2, if you didn't know. And it turned out a lot better than the last one. I made the hut bit a little bit smaller, so because you know, pigs are gonna be using this. They don't really need a whole tall bit, because if it's taller you can see the sun that burn the piggies. Give them a tan. 10 pigs. Okay, and here's our chicken and turkey farm. We recently rebuilt this, and it's not as very good as the last one that we built, but I feel like we might rebuild the chicken coop at some point in the future. Why are you looking at me for that? Okay, and also over here we have Roast Corn and Butter Wizard. They were my first horses, and these two are broken because their heads just broke because I accidentally gave them food, and then they just don't put their heads up now. But I think there's a way to fix that, but I don't know. Okay, so I was trying to make them breed, and then it didn't really work that way. And then we have Gary over here, just a regular horse, I think. No, wait, it's a More Creatures horse. And then Butter Wizard. Got a little bit of a hay bale in there. I remember building this. It used to just be this, and then it used to be a tree here, and I used to have an Aether Prattler here. But that was before I extended the island a bit more. This was a little bit more over before. Yeah, I remember that. Okay, but that's mostly everything in our farm over here. We're just gotta head over to the dinosaur area. Let's see. I'm hoping that I don't break anything because I don't have a backup now. Okay, let's see. There's Ariel, the raccoon down there. There's also a duck that we normally see on our walks to the Dino Ranch. We're going to start at the far end before we, come backwards. But over here we have our mammoth enclosure. I'm still putting snow down on the ground, and I think we can easily, get all that done at some point in the future. But I accidentally whipped it a bunch of months ago, a long time ago now. I whipped it and it's just been going crazy. I can't remember how to fix it. So it's kind of not very happy with me, but it's the only way that I could tame it, or I could do another thing. I can't really remember, but it's going in to eat right now. There it goes, it eats. And over here we have my favourite dinosaur, and that is a dodo. He is quite cute. He makes quite cute noises. Make a noise. Come on. Come on, make a noisy. Double check I am recording. Yeah. And over here we have our newest slime dinosaur. Dinosaur? Dinosaur. Where's our slime dinosaur? Looks like our slime dinosaur has escaped. Once again. I've had this happen like twice now, or once. It's kinda not really a problem now. It looks like our slime dinosaur has escaped. I don't know where it's went. Hopefully it's not dead. That's what I'm hoping for. I think it might have went up in one of these trees or something. Either that, it's flown out onto the ocean, and it means it won't be seen because it's off in a direction that I don't really travel in. Okay, Well, off we go to continue more. Over here we have our tree, well not tree farm, yeah, tree farm's over there. I was looking at the lantern there for a second. I really like the lamps that we created about like 30 episodes ago, 40 episodes ago. It turned out quite well. Over here is where I grow trees and then chop them down. And over here we have Boris the T-Rex, named by what's sleeping on 6th month, so June 6th of 2021. We missed the anniversary of Boris becoming 1 year old. Then, let's see. Well, we had to kill Boris a few times because we had problems taming Boris. We had to kill him and then respawn him, kill him and then just repeat after repeat. Boris has gotten a lot bigger than before, and also that's our Allosaurus there. Quite a small dinosaur. And over here we have our tree farm where we grow mostly every single type of tree. So oak, birch, jungle, nether wood trees from the Moorcraft mod. We emptied this before the 1.19 corruption and then it just refilled with water due to going back a save. So sadly this is all still full and I will have to drain it at some point in the future. I don't really have the strength to do it again. It was that long and it took forever. I was dropping sand in it. And over here we have Stego Island, where a Stegosaurus that I dropped off here because for some reason it didn't tame when I hatched it. I had 2 Stegosauruses, and so I dropped this one off of this island, so as far as our way, and eventually we've moved closer and closer to it, so it just chills out there. And off we go to continue on more. So we will head backwards now, and over here we have my beacon and our second attempt at trying to make a snowman farm, but it turns out you can't make it on a beach or a jungle because they're the 2 hottest biomes, so sadly we cannot make a snowman farm unless we make it on the water. So I have to do a water snowman farm at some point. Okay, well over here we have our Stegosaurus and Albert. Albert was named by Mother Berry, my mother, and they are the Dino Rancher, so they take care of all my dinosaurs out here. This is Spike, the Stegosaurus, as you can see. And over here we have Sarah Tomato, our Triceratops, a timid Triceratops, but they're a quite nice Triceratops. They got the name Tomato because they were very red when they were born, but they're kind of reddish brownish now, and it kind of looks like a tomato on the head. And over here we have Proto Honey, our Kecklin dinosaur. It was named after one of our commenters on the 5th of June. It's been a while since I've seen that commenter. Hopefully they're doing okay today and staying safe. And here we have just a bunch of trees that I planted out here, just to make the area look a lot nicer. And here we have the museum, full of many different histories of my world, and a few different trophies, and I might as well read the sign out front. Tenko's Museum, open 24/7, history has always been made. Technically, me walking through that door is history. And over here we have a pigman trophy that spawns a nugget. I don't really need the nugget, so we don't really need that. Over here we have a guardian trophy that we got from the sea temple. It does that, it scares the life out of me all the time. And then we have the skeleton trophy. It shoots arrows up in the sky. They don't I don't think they damage you. I think they make damage you. Gotta pick up that nugget a second. Put it in this chest over here. Remember to clean. And over here we have all of our... We kind of created like a history, or they found the dinosaurs. The dinosaurs started like an ice age thing. One of the gods got mad and sunk a ship. One of the gods woke up from an ancient slumber. So they're fighting the ancient god. And then it devolves into a war. And then it became peaceful after the war. After they defeated, the bad guys over here. And that's kind of the story that we've created here. Over here we have a shulker box from... I can't remember what the shulker box is from. I think it's from our End City adventures. When we went, for the first time in my entire Minecraft, time that I played it, going to End City. It was quite fun. And quite, pain. this fence over here almost caused a total, destruction of my map, because I had this mod called the flagged mod, and the flagged mod would let you put like flags on like posts and all that, put it on walls. You could have any flag like Japanese, Dutch, and Denmark. I put Denmark's flag up. I was got to change it every day for every episode. But then my world singed, and then I found out that Redwood, I had the same problem with Redwood, so I removed the flag mod, and then that's what caused it. So that's how that went. And over here we have secret paint and walkthrough areas. There's another one over there. But we get back to this in a second, as that's a lush cave there. And also we have many pictures from my base over the months and years. Well, a year. I guess it's kind of like a year and a half now, because I started this world back in 2021, January 13th or 14th. I think it's 14th. Like I think I made an anniversary video one day earlier, I think, so I had to put it as a day before anniversary. And we've already been at our, area over here. Also, I forgot to say about this. This was a treehouse that I built for Willie the Guard, who just chills in the forest behind there, a little below, but last episode when we built it, well, the episode before that, when we built it, and it was quite good. And over here we have our historical potato farm. It used to come down this way, but then I made some calculations and found out that it would produce more out this way than it would out that way, because it was more shorter and created a lot less. So basically half this potato farm was basically over here. And so I changed it, and it turned out a lot better. It works more functional. I recently changed the roof lighting to glowstone instead of torches, because I started getting a lot more glowstone after adventuring in the nether. So that turned out a lot better. And I think we're going to save that area until we walk through the house. And over here is my other attempt for our snowman farm. Didn't really work out. I was going to farm so much snow, but didn't actually work. And over here we have our newest companion, Build the Iron Golem, but it came out as Oran Golem, so I just kept it in the name tag. And over here we have Burns, Argo, Voitech, I can't remember where Argot is over there. Voitech and Snowball, our 4 historical goats who were here very early on in the series. Voitech and Donald were the newest goats. Voitech came first and then Donald, but then Donald disappeared somewhere. We don't know where Donald went off to. We have Frankie the Crab, a crab that I got like 3 episodes or 4 episodes ago. And we also have Mr. Krabs somewhere around. And then also, we used to have a bunny that used to roam all this land. There's Mr. Krabs. But they sadly died, and I had to make a sign for them. They died on June 1st. They were my oldest pet, and sadly they died. They used to roam all the way around here. I don't know how they died. I think they jumped off of this and, died, or off of this. I'm more sure it's this because it's higher and it would cause more damage. And here we have my house. It's went through a lot of different changes, like normal terracotta walls with white terracotta at the bottom. What else? Added white concrete at the bottom recently, and then I changed the walls to blue terracotta because I was in a trip in London and I had a dream that I changed the walls to like a blue lilac. So I decided, we're gonna go with a blue lilac. That's what we're gonna do. And this is the original style of the hallway. But we'll get to this in a second. Here's our trophy bit over here. We have an ender dragon head that we recently got when we went to the end to go collect it. Golden apple. A manticore in a tree stinger. Now, the story about this is that my daughter Sam was getting attacked from the Minecraft Comes Alive mod by a manticore in a tree. So I went manticore in a tree, GETTINGKILLED, getting killed. It's kind of, play on, what's that thing called? Someone kissing in a tree, KISSING. I don't know why kids even sung that. I never even got the song, like, until, like, recently. I figured out what the song meant. Over here we have our Minecraft, what do you call it? Minecraft Mo Creatures armors. We have the hide armor, the fur armor, and the reptile armor. I recently got the boots in 1.19, before the 1.18 corruption, that's it, not 1.19 corruption. Keep saying 1.19 corruption, but it's 1.18 corruption. And then we also got the wither armor, a boss armor from the Morecraft mod, and also the emerald armors from Morecraft, and also that blaze armor. And here's our iron armor. It should, I think I swapped it out a long time ago for my original iron armor, but I don't really have a chest plate for that because I lost it in the nether when I was fighting, I think, some... Oh, I was wondering what that was there. I saw it's like a glitch squid. It's a dragon head. And also here's our ender dragon armor. I remember we purposely killed the ender dragon a second time so we would get the rest of the skills. But for some reason, in the mod, it does not enable the second ender dragon to drop skills for some reason. So we had to spawn in the scales because we needed to complete the armor, and that was the only reason why I fought the ender dragon for the second time, was to finish off this armor. And kind of making the armor, I think it was a bug that didn't spawn any scales. And also here's our original diamond armor, or a second set, because we died. We died in a wither stupid thing because the wither accidentally destroyed our gravestone, so I had to respawn everything in with the exact same enchantments, and this was like a long time ago. And it turned out quite well. Here's our blazing emulsion blade. A very historical blade that I always used to use until I switched to the rainbow blade. And over here we have our Christmas white and red armor, leather armor. And here's the RPG inventory wizard armor. I think I was completing the sets. Yeah, I was completing the sets with the tools. I'm yet to get the berserker armor. We have the ruby armor from the Morecraft mod, obsidian, rotten flesh, and slime armor. They don't really give that much abilities, they're just mostly just regular. Here's our fridge with our stuff in it, washing machine where we repair our armor. If we had vanilla armor, because I used to keep in one of these areas a bucket and the dye stuff to make the soapy water, but I don't really think I do that anymore. If it's vanilla armor, it works, but if it's modded armor, it does not really work, so that's why I have mending on my armor now. Apart from my chest plate, I need to get on the chest plate. I've been trying to get on it for like a couple of episodes now. We have our sink. You need a water block under it so it will fill up. Furnace, well not furnace, cooker. And then dishwasher to repair your tools. Furnace and crafting table that used to be out in our front area. I forgot to show off our front area over here. So this is our front area. We used to have a crafting table and a furnace right on here. Bench. I told you this would happen. It's oak one, wasn't it? Yeah. Sorry. Sometimes I forget that I'm in creative. So I changed that to... well, I changed the thing to a bench area, having a little area with a little water bottle out front. It looked quite nice, and also that is the first flower pot that I've had in my house in a long time. Let's see. And over here we have our enchantment room. We normally kept the same kind of layout of our house from each Jungle Paradise from season 1, and then it eventually evolved into this, and this is probably our best house ever. We have enchantment room over here with our enchantment plus that gives us certain enchantments that we want. We want, you know, to select something, so we just drag the bar upwards and you just get random enchantments with this one. All of our enchantment books in here, I put in here a long time ago. You can see our entire shulker box full of the stupid enchantment books that are very trash. Over here we have our bathroom that we recently did up with Prismarine at this lower bit over here, and quartz in the wall with, what do you call it, spruce wood. And it turned out quite well. It makes the bathroom look a little bit more fancier and brighter. Kinda that I lagged on the door there. I got caught on it. Okay, and now we continue on. Here's our dinosaur room over here. This is where we do all our dinosaur researching and making all the dinosaurs. We have many dinosaurs in here, the lab with smiley face. We have many different stuff in here, different dinosaurs like Allosaurus, Mammoth, Spinosaurus, Petrodon. There's a T-Rex somewhere around here. Yeah, 8 T-Rexes. That's how many T-Rex DNAs I have. Oh, I got a cola can. Shove that in there. Nah, I already have a cola can. Just remember that. But we recently had to downgrade this because when I built the place it was much more bigger. But then I decided to move this out more backwards over here. I don't know if I could break open that a little bit more, but who knows. But I built all this behind it. I expanded it a little bit more. It used to just be like 1 block of room or 2 blocks of room. A little bit. But then I decided to make it more flourish into more like a naturist area. And it turned out a lot better. And now we have over here our sugarcane farm that we quite enjoy because this is a quite nice sugarcane farm. I recently added grass blocks to make it look a lot nicer instead of dirt blocks. Our dog room with our many dogs. We have Gub. I think that's King. Yeah, that's King. Over here we have Bun and Sakaran over here. Our 4 dogs. I was planning to get more dogs at some point, but we're yet to do that. Let's see. Is it time to go this way? How about we go off in this direction and we leave the lush cave for a second? Because we need to come back all the way around there and all that. Let's see. So we do that in a second. Now we shall show off my... Yeah, I really like that. I did put a lot of leaves all the way around here. And it turned out quite well. Over here we... Really, you come through now? I was just getting a cinematic shot here and then you do this. Over here we have our... I guess they went back in. Obsidian portal over here. That's kind of... No, they didn't. They just decided to walk into the forest. Over here we have our obsidian portal. We kind of based off of the totem of Undying. Kinda. And it turned out quite well. It's mostly based on a sword. Because I wanted a sword nether portal. But it didn't really come out that way. Over here we have our pink chocobo. I'm supposed to heal it up at some point. I recently did up this bit with a little bit more room for the animals. And over here we have a white and yellow chocobo that we got to make our pink chocobo. And then there's our undead horse there. That's a proper skeleton horse there. Over here we have our zombie spawner that I recently got working. We've had this since day 1. After I discovered it near the place that I would eventually build the cottage. So we wandered off in this direction and discovered this here. And we've eventually just broke it down in a little bit and then just built this area down here that we whacked them and then get a lot of, you know, resources. I mostly did it for mending books, but I'm yet to get a single mending book. And we shall continue on. Over here we have our fire tower. That is basically a little like bonfire thing. I can't remember what inspired me. I think it was Lord of the Rings. You know when they light that fire to signal that they need help from that other village far, far away. I think that's where I got inspired for this. And then over here we have our windmill. I forgot to show this off. And our many, many rocks in the water from when I cleared all of this out and then eventually landscaped it so it looked more, instead of slat surfaces, more outwards looking. And it looks a lot better with that. And it became what it is today. Over here we have our windmill. It kind of just never was used, so I just put a bunch of leaves all the way around it, put some vines on it, and it turned out quite well. And then we have the destroyed wheat farm over here that I created to look destroyed, and it actually turns out quite well. I quite enjoy the kind of like, it's a very old wheat farm but it still produces wheat. And over here we have our lamp, well, the many lights that we have around here for lighting. I created these about like 100 episodes ago and they turned out quite well. I used a hopper and glowstone. I think I based it off an idea of something, I can't remember. I think I was going to put trapdoors on it. Never did do that. Our original boat that we used to sail down the river, and I guess we go down the river soon. Over here we have our boat and Rusty's there in the water. Rusty's just a companion that we have. And over here is this nice boat. It looked a lot better the first time that we built it, but I had to go back and save due to the 1.18 corruption and all that. Otto, Mikkel and Quincy, their family. So these people have been here for a long time. I recently took them from out of my house and put them back out here because of ogre issues. There's a fake Michelangelo that I didn't know how to spell Michelangelo right, so it just became that. There's a random child that I don't know who they are. Brian and Detra, I don't even know who they are. Over here we have our family. This is Sam's cottage. Sam's no longer around with us due to them dying in an ogre attack. That's why I don't like ogres. Married to Stacy. Who's Stacy? Ah, Stacy the guard. That's more reasonable. This person over here married their cousin the last time, so I had to kill their cousin. But they had a child at the time, so I could not kill them, so they kind of just became normal again. This is Stacy over here. Okay, now on to the village. This village is very old. I built it a long time ago. I never actually finished the roof in here. There's some people stuck in the house there. But I built this a long time ago. It turned out well enough for living. I recently broke down the wall in there, so it looks a little bit more open. Drew sadly died because I discovered that he was no longer around. I guess he passed away from all the swimming in the water. He was a good person later in life, but we didn't really like Drew early on. There used to be a house here, but I recently destroyed it all and rebuilt the landscape a little to make it look nicer. Over here we have a... what day are we on anyway? Day 949. I guess user got to be here for 950. Over here we have this cottage that was attacked by like 20 zombies that came from all this, so I had to kill a bunch of them. There used to be like a little harbour area bit here, a little harbour house, but I recently destroyed that. And then over here, this is very outdated, as you can see. I used only materials I had was jungle logs and cobble, so that was how that was built. And over there's a big island. So we might as well head down river, as that's where we need to go. Oh yeah, there's that old mining cottage that I was going to use for a mine. Didn't really work out very well because I mined the stone that I needed and then just gave up on it. I think I took the stone from the nearby stone brick temple that we saw. Over here I took all the stone bricks to build Sam's cottage. But there's been so many ogre attacks in the series that the roof of it was a bit damaged. We have grey path. And over here we have like a little grove area that you sail under, and then it's quite nice. Recently we built like a tiny cottage out here, a little river cottage. A little river like hobbit hole. And it turned out quite well. I can't remember where I got the idea from. I saw a video thumbnail. I think I liked the design a little, so I took a little bits of it and then turned it into something new. It's just mostly this in this room because there's nothing over here. It's just emptiness. And I forgot to fix the roof of it. Poop. I need to fix that at some point. We finished it on the 19th of May 2022. And over here we have more land water areas. Let's see, I didn't realise how many rivers there were out here. Didn't even see that temple for the longest time. Let's see. Wait, we went the wrong way. Normally there's a way to go down this river and I can't remember where. What? Ah, there's a side entrance. Ah, I remember. There's a side little water area that you have to go through. I remember this temple. I need to destroy it at some point. Yeah, over here. I was wondering why the river didn't connect. I'm yet to fix up that river again. But we built this as just a temporary waterway, but we've been using it for like over 200 episodes now. 300 episodes now. And it's kind of just stayed the same. It's kind of not very nice looking. But we later, for I think it was an anniversary or something, or a major event in the episodes, that we built a giant Oki statue. That is very ugly. I should rebuild it. It's kind of miscalculated. But it turned out that way. I only cared about the front, so I just put random stuff in the back. We built it on a existing temple, and that's why it messed up quite bad. Here is our... Oh, I haven't seen you in a long time. Efren. I totally forgot about you. Sorry, I just found someone that I have not seen in a long time. Efren was a good companion of mine, and I brought him to work on some builds with me. And I totally forgot about him. I left him here for like over 200 episodes or 100 episodes or something. Yeah, probably over 100 episodes and a bit. I left him this long from the Trenches and Towers projects. So the Trenches and Towers project were 2 crossing with 2 towers. And if we slide over here, it should come into frame. Our second one, it's a little bit more north up here. I haven't really went over this landscape in a very long time. I remember scouting out this area when I first started the world. And over here, well, I didn't really scout out this far. Just a more spawn region area. Over here we have our basically bridge crossing. I can't remember the name that gave it. It's a river crossing. This is the second one that we built. We built it out of white concrete and quartz. That took a long time to collect all that, and glowstone. And this is where most of our glowstone went to, is this project. That's why we don't have any, but then we recently started getting more of it. We have many different coloured, glass around here. And it took a while to pick a pattern because I had to break it and then rebuild it and then place it and then rebuild it until I got a good pattern. But it turns out we had made many miscalculations in building it. Like that bit there is shorter than that bit over there. That's longer. So that was a big problem with this build. And I guess instead of heading back to the Lush Cave, we're not going to head over here because it's not really any builds. But this is a major plains biome that we used to go around and kill like mobs and all that, like golems and all that. And over here is where I sent my son Bobby Cloud to mine, and then I lost him, and then I found out that he spawned back at the house, and then I took him back. I was going to place him in the house, and then he sadly was killed in a forest when we were transporting him to a new spot for a house. So he sadly was killed in a zombie skeleton attack. So that's how we lost our son. And now we're going to be teleporting over to... I need to go through all the waypoints. Village 1. So we're going to be teleporting over to Village 1. I'm going to pull up my mini-map. I don't know why it's super zoomed in. It's very zoomed in. How about giving me a second? Zoom out. Where's zoom out? There we go. That's much better. Okay. So over here we have a build that looks like an angry kitty. Like a very angry kitty. We built this. I drew it and then I built it, and it turned out, okay. It was mostly just a filler area for, placing stuff. There used to be a village here. There used to be a, beacon there too, that we used to break down the village, but it didn't really help much. But we broke down the entire village, and we're going to build a new village on top, but most of the inhabitants all died out, or we took them to new lands. New lands being that village that I built up all the way over here. So that's how that turned out. And over here we have a church that we built. I'm yet to finish all the glass, but I didn't really go with... Oh wait, here's a bit over here. So, Over here is our church kind of build. I based off a building, a church in the Battle of Loo, I think, or the Battle of the Somme. I can't remember, but someone's grandfather was a photographer in World War One, and he took pictures of destroyed areas for a certain group. I can't remember what, but I remember seeing it on Twitter, and I decided, you know what, that building in the background really looks nice, and you know, how about we give this building new life? So I decided to rebuild it all. I gave it my own touches, like this area over here. I barely even remember putting that up there, but you know, it's coming back to me. But we added all of this over here too, and it turned out quite well. We can go up here, and it wasn't until a long time ago that we finished the roof. There we go, torch up here. It's a bit dark. Okay, so over here we have the bell tower area where I was going to build a bell, but I never actually did. And then here's the inside. I was going to put chairs in here, but it didn't really work, and also you can see that it's miscalculated over here. Is that side is one longer than that side. But I could not really break down the entire build, because it would take too long back then. It won't take as long now, but I don't really want to break something historical. I mined out all of this, I can't remember why. I think I was just clearing it out for the back of the build. Yeah, I was clearing it out for the back of the build. Over here is where we fight the Grim Reaper. Where we fought the Grim Reaper. It used to be like a house that we built it in, but then we turned it into a cobblestone circle, I think. Or it was more over here. But we turned it into a cobblestone circle, and we fought the Grim Reaper to bring back my wife and son, but my son was unable to, because the son drops a sword when he dies, and that sword had a bit of durability missing, because when you swing it, it loses durability. So when that happened, I basically lost my son. But over here we have the trenches and towers bit, the trenches bit of the project, and we built 2 trenches. That turned out quite well. I was supposed to do a bit of water over here, but I never actually did, sadly. Should really do some water bit over there, finish it off properly. I think I buried someone down here, but they're no longer there. I can see all the twigs on the ground now. It's really annoying me. But that is permanent due to texture pack. And over here we have the church. We never really filled it with anything, just more like built it and then didn't really do much else with it. I would probably finish it off sometime in the future. I even added one of the wind things that tell you what way's north and south and east and all that. And then over here we have for Pride Month we did a bunch of different flags, like the lesbian, trans, pan, and I think that's aromantic. Yeah, aromantic there, I think that's that one, yeah. Pretty sure that's that one. And then we have the poly flag there too. We just created a bunch of flags there. And over here so for the longest time I had planned to change every layer of this mountain to a different colour. And that's basically the only thing that I've ever done. And that was just like 10 episodes ago. Let's see. And over here we have a lava pit that we took the lava for, and having a friend, I can't remember who, I think it was Daryl, was helping me, or Dallas, and he was helping me transport all of the obsidian over here so I could bring back my family, because he had to do it within a certain time period or something, or I saw it was at a certain time period. Over here we have people that I put in these houses, different families and all that. Guards over here, and then here is Pearly and Lazzetti, and Coleman over here, and they're the people who've been inhabitants in that area. Over here is where I used to mine out all the sand. I'm yet to build a new project here. I'm wanting to build like a sugarcane river, but that won't be a while. It'll be a while before that. So those mountains was a lot larger. And over here we have the sugarcane fields. Basically a ginormous field area just full of sugarcane. It was supposed to be more closer together, but it kind of just dragged out apart due to, you know, not having enough sugarcane. I had like tons of sugarcane, but I didn't have enough for it. And now we're going to teleport over this way. Over here, we're at Village 2. A very historical village for finding Dallas and some other people here. And then bringing all the people who were in this village to the village up there that I've showed multiple times. So that's what we did there. And it's kind of very uninhabited now. There's still people here, but not very many. Over here is our 150 block wide project. That is a ginormous ring that I got this idea from a dream that I had, and I decided to build it. And it was more like a grass hill, but it's not really a grassy hill. But it was like a shader's dream with like God rays coming down, the sun and all that. It was very nice, and I was like standing here and watching the sun go and all that. It was quite nice. Wait, that's a level 2 National Cinder. Luckily I don't have to deal with that now, as I'm in Kratos. We're also on day 950 in a second. And I think that's basically all that's out here, really. So now we can start to... Also, we could head up to the Mesa biome, but there's nothing really up there. Flower biome, plains, nothing up there. There's a uwu face out in this, what do you call it, area down here. Wait, let me see where it is. So, somewhere around here. Somewhere southern, I think. There's a uwu face somewhere around here. There it is. See it? There's a uwu face. Not very uwu face, but you know, kinda little face. So I kinda just made that while I was mining up snow for something. Also, I forgot to show this off over it here in the desert village. Mashalden is what this is nicknamed. And this is a failed mob farm, because I was trying to figure out how to make a mob farm, but it didn't really turn out very well. So I just left it and turned it into a fountain. Over here is our mushroom island. It mostly just had brown mushrooms that I saw. So I thought it was only a brown mushroom island. No, there is red mushrooms, but you can't see it on the map, sadly. So I was thinking, oh no, if I don't have any red mushrooms, I'm going to have to plant them all over the island if I want to take over this island. But we won't be taking over that island for a very long time. I need to also scout out all of this ocean area over here. Okay, my mouth is getting a bit dry from all this talking. And up here in this area over here is our enchanted forest where I mined for dirt. I mined so much dirt here, but like 5 shulkers worth of dirt I probably mined up there. And let me try and find it. I think, yeah, here. Over here is where my end portal is. It's kind of like a gorilla. You can see the gorilla, can't you? Here's a little back leg of it. But this is a gorilla. And down in here is where I found my end portal. I used a hammer to mine down to it, and it was very hard. It took a while before we found it. That's a very straight coastline, if you can see that. And that's a flower biome. It's quite nice. We don't really have many close flower biomes. The only close flower biome is over here. And it's very hard to see if there was any different kinds of ones there. And is that mostly everything that we have to do out here? There's Construction Island, I totally forgot about that. So pull out the minimap. Here's a... Oh, this is my spider farm. I totally forgot to show this off. But here's my spider farm. It just produces spiders and pushes it down here. It was my first ever one. I created it on the docks out here. I totally forgot to show this off. I totally forgot it. I even built it. But I built this such a long time ago. Well, not that such a long time ago. Actually, just like 30 episodes ago, I think. Trying to make my way back. It's very hard. Some waypoints are in different dimensions. That's very annoying. Ah yeah, out here is our sea temple that I'm slowly going to retake and, you know, unwater it. But I've been working on that for like 200 episodes now, and it's going to be a long time before I actually do that. Yeah, let's see. What did I want to show you? Ah yes, construction built island. Okay, we have our zoo up here. I might as well show you the animals in the zoo while we're on our way. Here's all of the animals in the zoo. Many different animals. We have Pan, Piper, Snow, Belle, Poe, Mallow, and Lily over here. I think Mallow and Lily are named after the Sun and Moon characters in Pokemon. We have Tommy, a roast of Ibana, Radula, all randomly named. Hamburg and Frank, named after Hamburg and Frankfurt of Germany. Raw, named after some raw food that I tried to feed it during the live stream. Kamba, we all know who Kamba is, I told you about them earlier. And then all the zookeepers that I would have roaming, but I don't really want them to roam in case they, get struck by lightning. Don't want to show this bit off just yet, as you probably see it on the minimap. But we'll get to that very soon. So, over here we also have our chicken farm. Totally forgot to show that off. Now, we're going to teleport up. I can't teleport for some reason to that one. (0, 0, H). Ah, don't need that. Yeah, that should work. What's the blue waypoint? Ah, Mesa. It would be better if I just went to... just pulled up Construction Island. Yeah, that would be better. Oh, this is 0, 0. This is a lag pit over here. Due to it being 0, 0, all of these stay loaded, and it's horrible. Over here we have Construction Island, where my second son used to live until I accidentally killed his wife because I accidentally hit him. Hit her with a sword, and then my son witnessed that, and then before he could talk, I killed him. But that guy in the boat right there is the only witness, Paris, who is now dating Melissa? No? Hillary? Hillary's married to Harvey. Can't remember where Harvey is. Someone's Harvey around here. Okay, well, now we can head back home and I can show off our home once more. We have a bit. Here's a sea temple. And so, let's teleport to the house. Hello there, fake Michelangelo. Got the O or something, I can't remember what letter I missed. Okay, but we're going to slide back into the house and I'm going to show off everything from the ladder up above. I forgot to show my room. So up here we have our room, and this is the room. We recently did up this wall in the back to make it look a lot nicer, and it turned out a lot better than I thought it would. Like, this room's quite nice. We even have a storage room where my old TVs used to be, because I used to have a TV bit, but then I made this carpet up here and it makes it more open and a lot nicer. I was going to have a little water bit that comes out here, but I decided not to do that, and it's kind of just stayed this way for now. We have pigs that have... There was just one pig, but it seems like even more pigs have just showed up out of nowhere. This is 1 HP pig. And over here is where I write stuff. Let's see. But we're going to continue on now. I'm going to show you... this area. I've not showed you this area yet. This is my cactus farm and sugarcane farm. I'm just going to go over it briefly. Recently done up that, and I have not touched that in a long time. It should be active, but I don't really activate it that much. I could just keep it deactivated. It would be good for all the sugarcane that it can produce, but I just gave up on it. Just slide up here. Here's a viewpoint that I made. I did accidentally put a roof on this for a second, and then I had to break it all down. But I think the best thing that I did with this is putting all the leaves up it and then vines on it. I think that's one of the best things that I ever did. Here we have our roof, where we have our farm, and then our cactus farm that's been here for the longest time. I put it here because I needed room, and then cocoa bean farm, and then carrots. We used to have a variety of different stuff like potatoes here, but then I changed that. We used to have netherwort, but I've not had netherwort grown here in a long time. I should start regrowing it. Here, there's the water that I used to fill these things many hundreds of episodes ago. I'll show off the graveyard before we get around to going to the magic pony garden, magic horse stables. We have Rifa, my most recent wife, death very unknown, I don't really know how they died. Joey the bluebird, a bird that got struck by lightning, named by my mother, and it was the most devastating thing for me for the longest time. But it wasn't for, if this bird didn't die, we would not have built like a big part of the lush cave, because I named the tunnel after them. So they're that scared the life of me. There's a werewolf in the wall there. Really, I can't have peace. Yep, the fox. Don't know how they died. We know that they died in 2021 winter. Died to full damage unknowingly. We discovered that they weren't around. Kelvin the guard is basically the reincarnation of Daryl, the first death and the first friend that I ever had in the series. They died to lava while charging a witch. They died very heroically back in January. Daryl, the first person to ever die in the series, died fighting the wizard. It was very devastating. Kill one antenna. That's the kill that I said that died on that certain time when I was transporting them from Mushroom Island. Chuck the librarian, my first husband, who I killed because I wanted to divorce them because I didn't really like them no more, and they weren't the nicest person, I don't think so. Adolf the guard, a nice person that I was going to marry, but sadly they got bit by a zombie and turned into a zombie, and then I cured them, and then they turned into Steve the farmer, and Steve the farmer's kinda a chaos god in this series. A very you don't want to mess with. Sam, Tenkoberry's and Tawanda's daughter died during an attack. This was due to an ogre attack on the cottage, Sam's cottage. Donna and Amy, married, also died, great granddaughters. Sam, class daughter of TB and T, and wife of Sonny, died together during an attack on CH, Sam's cottage. Lightning hit somewhere. Don't know where it hit. It's probably been put out now. Sorry, I got distracted by the lightning. And then Tawanda, my second wife, I am pretty sure, my first wife. Pretty sure they might be my first wife. And then Steve the farmer, we don't like Steve the farmer. Puh! 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 Don't like Steve the farmer. Diamond Pig, I really miss Diamond Pig. It was a pet pig that we could ride and we could put armor on it, and sadly they died, and it was quite sad. I think they died to fighting or fall damage. Vicky, my second wife, second wife was Vicky. I killed them, and we had a daughter, Bailey, and they married to Dustin and died unknownly. They died in Bailey died in the attack on Sam's cottage, but then her daughter Adelaide is still alive to this day. Hung a good friend, second best companion that I ever had. Dallas doesn't count because Dallas is a very creep who creeped on Tawanda, and I eventually exiled him to Construction Island. Hung the guard, who was killed by mules, headless mules to be exact, in the back area of this area over here. There's a cave and all that, and they went down the cave after a headless mule, and then I saw another one pop up, so I quickly jumped down the hole, and this was all off camera, and I killed them, and then it was very sad. Haggis died to a arrow. They only had 1 minute of life. I tamed them, and then they got shot by an arrow when I was running from a skeleton. Bobby Cloud, my son, and then Ginger suffocated in a stone wall in my house. And then, yeah, we already read that one. Okay, but that is all that is over here. Over here is our manticores. We used to ride manticores all the time, but then we changed to wyverns. Over here is frog wall for life. Frog wall is basically we accidentally made a frog wall and then I just kept it going and then, you know, it turned into this. And it looks quite cute. So we always go frog wall for life when we see it. And then we have a bunch of wheat, stuff to feed chocobos. Melons and pumpkins, they sometimes don't actually, they just connect to the same pumpkin. That's very annoying. Strawberries, corn, more different crops here. Not very much pumpkins, I'm very sad about that. But, you know, it doesn't really matter. This is my attempt at making a melon golem, didn't really work. So I just kept it as a light. Here's where I was going to put like special people from the special commenter garden. But it didn't really come out as that. I was going to put like sponsors here once, but that never really happened. So it's just became a blank area that I don't really use. It's kind of like an overlook area. Kinda. I don't really use it. Over here we have our greenhouse that I gave up on making because I thought, you know, there's nothing really to greenhouse in except like butterflies and all that. So I just kind of left it empty. Don't know what I'm gonna use it for. I'm gonna make the roof rainbow and then add some like grass stuff in here. Kind of make it look nice. I was about to close the door there, but we have no door there. Old chest that we have here. Here is our commenter garden, where we have 22 people now. We recently added someone like 2 episodes ago. That's DJ Swirly. And we have many different people here. We have many YouTubers, Indian, British, and then there's one Scottish, my sister, Blueberrywolfcub. Or Blueberry_WC. Little Fox, a Asian cooking YouTuber. And then Chota for Gaming, I think they are a Indian YouTuber also. No Vanity. We have many different kinds of people. Regular commenters, people who just stumble across my videos. Some people who have been here for long times, and then a bunch of YouTubers also. Many different people. But this commenter garden has went through a lot of stuff. It used to just be like 4 blocks tall, and it used to just be this wool that used to be where all this colour is. That's where the wool used to be, and it looked quite nice. It was quite nice garden area. And then I eventually changed it to a more love heart thing, and then it used to be glass in the middle, and then I broke all the glass and got rid of it, and then changed it to normal. Okay. Don't really need to open this filly. It's stuck there. Okay, over here we have our, what do you call it, wyvern area. This is the area that it's the original area before I built this area and accidentally went down that area because I was supposed to build it over here, but then I accidentally built it over there. So that's how this area came along, and then I built the wyvern area down here where we have multiple wyverns. We have Zoe, or yeah, it's Zoe, right? Yeah, Zoe. Bogus. Bogus. Brian, Marsh, and Ice. And we have, you know, they've been around for a long time. They're not as good as my original wyvern from Season 4, but they're quite good. My original one from Season 4 of Jungle Paradise was Sunny. I really liked Sunny. Named after one of my favourite characters from Metal Gear Solid 4. But before we get to that area back there, we have over here our magic horse stables. That we keep our magical horses. New and Glowfire in here now, but I'm hoping that I can get the fairy horse. I'm gonna get Barry to spawn it in for me, and then it should be all fully working, I think. So we're gonna go over here before we get to the main area. So this area over here is also our floating garden. It's went through many different changes. We created this a long time ago. We called it the 6 coloured doors because these were supposed to be doors, but they didn't. I never actually put on the door. I forgot to put on the doors and then just put glass on top. And then it just turned out a rainbow theme, and it actually looks quite nice. That would be cool for like fake water. And then I was going to use this as a carrot garden, but I just kept it plain and then had the crop bit at the end, but I never actually used it until now, recently. Over here we have a secret area that if you go down, you can just hit a switch and it would open, but you have to go from the other side first. before you can do that. Over here we have the Bridgemaster Temple, named after a very important bird from Season 4, my parrot, who sadly was killed by an ogre. Yes, I have that bad of a luck that many of my animals, friends and family have died to ogres. That's why I don't like ogres. Unless it's Shrek. Shrek's a nice person. This area has went through a lot of different changes. We put glass up. I was supposed to fill that in, but I forgot to. It was just basically lying down there waiting to be put in. I forgot to do that, so I might do that in the future. But I created like a temple kind of thing that you could enter from both ways. I drawed it, and I was supposed to add like a little water bit going down here, like a little river. But I forgot to do that, and I don't think we have time to do that in the future, as I'm working on many different projects. So now, here we have our floating garden, a giant area with 4 different directions. It used to be a flat roof about this height, and it used to just go out, and then I eventually broke all of that glass and then built this little bit that went up, and then it went flat and then it went down, and it was pretty good. And then I eventually added the round bit, and I was supposed to, this is a round bit, it's kind of like a barn, but I was supposed to add a round bit in the middle and have a little bit that I could go from the surface. And I was supposed to have the water stream that I use as an elevator down there to be on very top, and then you could just hop right into it. But that didn't really happen, and I was supposed to put like a leaf bit over here and then some fairy lights also, make it look like, you know, very cottage kind of style. Over here we have a, well, I might as well show that bit over there first. This is a door that I use sometimes, well, a lot of the time I use it. It's quick access from the inside of my house. It's an area that I did not want to go to and show the now because I was saving it for later. And so this area over here is just a big area where we can just do stuff. I keep my pets here like Lord Hardshell, Leonardo, Donatello, our recent one, the purple Ninja Turtle, Cumcuber, a fox that I accidentally wanted to call Cucumber, but I accidentally called him Cumcuber. But the name's kind of stuck and I kind of like the little fox. It's a replacement for Yip Yip, who sadly died. Just a random chest that I had here. When I was constructing this place, I used TNT and hammers, and it eventually shaped into like something cave-like. And then I originally built this area. That area would come later. It used to just be like a bit that went downwards a bit, and then it would just be like a little bit like that. It never actually went there anywhere. But we called it the Proto Tunnel after Proto Honey. And this is my furnace room. It took many hundreds of stacks of cobble to make this room. Very painful. We recently built all of this and it turned out quite well. We went with a different kind of theme here and then built this little area, the 6, I think it's 6 or 5 little waterfalls that come out here. It's like a little chill area where we can just chill out for a long time. And also we're on day 950. Just to show you that we're on day 950. 50 more days until 1000 days. And so I built this area over here. I was supposed to have a bit going up here, but sadly I built too close to the surface, and up there it's just a bit of sand. That will, if I broke it all, it would just collapse all inwards. And so I recently just put this up to make some decoration. The Blueberry Tunnel, we had an ogre attack that really opened this area. It used to just be like a tunnel bit here, but it sadly got very broken, and we just kind of kept the damage of it, and it kind of looked a lot more nicer with this. Here's the memorial lake for the ogre attack on Blueberry Tunnel on the 5th of May. It also made this area over here look a lot nicer, and I kind of, you know, like that the ogre attacked, even though many people did die in the attack. But if it wasn't for that, you know, this would not exist. And it looks a lot nicer after the attack. We have many rooms where I was got to put people, and then I left this off for a long time, and then I eventually built our auto smelter over here. This is the second one because the first one accidentally got destroyed during an ogre attack. Yes, another ogre attack, but from below, because it targeted on a player here, and I had a build down below, and it destroyed a bit of the build down below, and it was targeting a player, well not player, NPC, and then for some reason more creatures and Minecraft Comes Alive does not really agree with each other. So you just store stuff up here and it will cook and then drop it in this chest down here. It works quite efficiently, quite fast actually. Over here we have our failed melon farm. I was trying to build one, but I don't really know how to build one. So sadly I just kept it the same way that it always has been. And over here we have our train station that got damaged during a ogre attack. Yes, 2 days later another ogre attack happened. And we discovered a long time ago, before the 1.19 corruption, there was many ogre attacks that happened here, but we saw it was just one ogre. But it turned out there was like 3 ogres that attacked here during that time frame, and we only caught the first one, or the last one. So that was the only one that we caught, and then another ogre attacked down here, because we accidentally left someone down here, or someone wandered down here. So sadly there was another ogre attacking that cave down there. So I'm yet to repair this place. It's my train station, and I was going to make railways that go out very far in the world. I was going to connect it up with somewhere over this area so I can connect up with this village off in this direction. I think, yeah, I've got to go out in this direction and then downwards and then that way, so I can connect up with that village there. We've yet to do that, but in the future we will. And over here we have a tunnel that we named Swafap Tunnel after a commenter who was an Indian YouTuber. Not seen them in a very long time. Hopefully they're doing okay today in CNC. But we built this tunnel. It took a long time. Sand was collapsing. We were placing, you know, a bunch of stuff. We encountered some of our bridge, this bridge, because we had supports, and then I just built up a big ginormous area on the side of it to just camouflage it. So that turned out quite well, and then we built all of this area, and it looks quite nice. And then over here we have our couch, our nice little couch with our nice colouring. This is the furnace room behind. Sadly, we built it very close to each other. Well, we built the furnace room close to the other one, so sadly they collide quite a lot. Like when I get an idea, I have to collide into one of these projects, and it's very annoying. And over here we have our, well, this is the start of the Lush Cave. Back then, over here, before this, all of this, this was considered the artificial cave up to this point. And this was its own build, a bubble kind of thing, so I could look out into the water. And all the way over here, also I nicknamed this the Joey Tunnel, in honor of Joey, who died from Joey the Bluebird, who died to lightning strike. So we built all of this down here, and this became the Lush Cave when we accidentally broke into a cave. And then eventually became this. It does really look nice, doesn't it? It has its few problems. I have a bit behind the lava, but I've not really built anything behind there. I recently built this just to add a bit of decoration on this little wall bit over here. But you know, that looks quite nice. And then we have water bit. This water bit actually breaks out under, so it fills this area. And then I have random water bit there. Kind of the moisture comes down the rock and then outwards. Over here we have a bunch of random tunnels that we never actually used. They kind of collided with other tunnels. I was going to use this as an under bit that went under this bit over here, this crossroad. But sadly that never actually happened due to how tight the room was. So I gave up on it. So I built this area over here. I drew the idea and I wanted to have a tree in the middle. So I built this ginormous area. It took a very long time. The tree never grew for a long time either, because miscalculations in the build, having to pull back certain stuff a little to make it actually spawn, worked eventually. Over here we have Tenko's magic witch room. That we grow, well, we do magic and all that. Sadly, I got rid of my magic mod due to it bugging out and all that, and just gave up on it. Over here we have a unused tunnel that I just built a face in. And over here we have a random room area. And it quite looked nice, this room area. It does lead to another part of a cave kind of system that leads to basically a ginormous area. Yeah. Bridge cave, that's that cave that we were just in, and then stairs to Kelvin/Mars tunnel, named after a bit just up from us that leads down to the Mars tunnel, and the Mars tunnel accidentally broke into this cave, and then I accidentally just added this cave. And then we have the Kelvin tunnel, named after Daryl's second reincarnation. Over here we have a tunnel that we were building in, but kind of just left covered in like a grove kind of thing. It was a quite nice area. It had this area over here that I quite enjoyed. That bit, this water source up here actually leads to the tree. I don't know how it worked, but it actually singing down here. I've got to build something off in that direction. It's been such a long time that I've actually been down here, so I can't actually remember where everything is. But that's the stairs that lead to... Where does that stairs over here lead to? Ah, yeah, this leads to the other part of the bridge cave that we just walked through. There's a staircase downwards. So, I don't really want to go down here now because we miss out on huge stuff. So, let's head back because we're just going to go through the areas that were labelled down there. Over here is a area, and this area is a small area that I built, and then I eventually built this over here. I blew a bunch of TNT up on the surface that eventually broke down into here, and then I covered the entire bit of the wall with dirt, and it turned out quite lovely. And then over here we have a staircase that we saw all of this vegetation up here. It's quite close to the museum. I showed this bit off when we were at the museum, the painting area. You can see the painting that way went through earlier over here, but it just leads to all the painting bits that you can go into the museum and help the museum. And we built this bit up here. We were going to do something up here, but we never actually did anything up here, so we just left it and haven't really continued anything up here, as it's kind of just close to the museum, so we don't really want to build up there. We were using this as just a temporary store and blocks location. I'm actually just going to shove some of the trash that I already have in my inventory in here now. Yeah, that can go too. And also I'm going to shove my thing in there. My boat. My very old boat. Here we have the Mars tunnel, the one that was labelled before. Let's see. Over here we have the egg room. Now the egg room had to be rebuilt due to the 1.18 corruption, and this is the second time that we made it. Not as good as the first time, but very good for certain other stuff like the roof. The roof is a lot better. We created like a kind of opening roof area. A lot more open than the last one. And then I was going to make two more areas off in this direction and that direction, with the water going all the way over there and creating little tiny circle bits of water. But I never actually got around to doing that. I think I might do that in the future still. But down we have, over here we have the Rusty Tunnel, named after Rusty when he first died, and then 1.18 corruption happened, so we had to go back and save, and all of this was lost, so I had to rebuild this all from scratch. And I would definitely say if it wasn't for that, this area would not have turned out as good as it now looks, because this is what do you call it, riverbed project, and it has a big waterfall with these bits on the side. It turned out quite nice, I would say. We have this area down here that we're going to build something, but we haven't really planned that. We have a broken kind of bridge. It kind of has a bit of holes in it, but you can still walk right over it. You can see that the slabs are still in the water, kind of signifying that it fell into the water. I think one of them is missing, or it's under. Yeah, there's just 3 of them. Ah, yeah, I think one of them should be somewhere around here. Either that, I forgot to place it down. But who cares about that? And then we had a little area that we could sit down over here. And then a little area where I had the storage chest where I stored all of the garbage from this project. Well, resources that we might need in the future. Over here we have a bridge that I'm supposed to put some fence bits on, but I forgot to do that. We have a bit that leads upwards over here that I was going to build something, but I just left it the plain way it is. And we built this little bit over a ravine. If you can see down there, it's a ravine. So I kind of made this like it's kind of like a rib cage kind of build, but I called it the Lito the Nito Tunnel, named after a person that I used to play with on Orange SMP, or it might have been another SMP, I can't remember. On the 23rd of May, I named it that. And we mined off in this direction. It turned out quite well when we mined off in this direction. We have certain bits where I store trash every once in a while, actually. Just store that there. And over here, what day are we on? 951. We created this little area, and then we eventually created the next bit of the riverbed project. Well, the riverbed project was just this area, and then this is the Mother's Day project, but I didn't build this originally. It was just supposed to be a staircase downwards, but then I added little touches and all that. And then I built the hallway that this would be the start of the Mother's Day project that I planned for Mother's Day, but I was too sick on Mother's Day to build it, and I was unable to build it for the longest time. But then we finally got around to building it, and it turned out, you know, okay. It's not fully finished yet, but you can start to see how it's coming along and all that. I stopped working on this a while ago because I was going to work on it, but I was planning on working on it when a lot later, because I want to mine off in this direction and mine into that ravine down there, and then mine off in that direction to something else. Just having wide areas, like big chunks of landscape that I can walk down, and I feel like small in that area. And I was supposed to have like a bunch of these bits that go out, like kind of like window areas that you have like windows here that jag out a little bit, and then it would go up to here, and then you could, you know, you could walk up here from like a door on the side or something, and then walk into this area, and then you could see all the. I was planning on doing like 3 floors, but sadly we built very close to the surface, and it kind of mucked up our ideas. And also, this is the main part. It's kind of based on like the main bit of New York City when you have that New Year's Square, something New Square in New York City, New Square or something. I can't remember what you call it off the top of my head. It's quite late. And this was what I envisioned the original build before they changed it to the advertising one. And then over here we have a big room that I made an underground river in. Originally this is a bridge, and then this is a river over here. Kind of a tiny river that I was going to build something off in the future if I ever decided to build here. And I was going to connect it up with the other river, but I have not gotten around to doing that just yet. So that is all that is in this area right over here. So we will slide down the tunnel at super 10,000 kilometer speed. Wee, 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 yeah. I accidentally got caught in the stairs there. Imagine getting caught in the stairs at 10,000 kilometers per hour. That's like 10,000 miles per hour, I think. I was just going with random words there, and I went past the area that I'm supposed to work on. Well, the area that I'm supposed to be at. Okay, so we have the Mars tunnel over here. That was the Mars tunnel that we went into, the egg room. And down here we have another area. This was a staircase that I built. It was a very fancy staircase. It kind of looked ugly when I first built it, but when I added the bits on the side it looked a lot better. And down here we built this. It's kind of like a clam or boobs kind of idea. That's what it kind of looks like when I first built it. It's like boobs or a clam that cries or something. Let's see. But it's kind of like a lake idea that I drew and didn't really know where I was going with it. But then when I first built it in 3D, it kind of looked like boobs for a second. Like whoop, and then throw that all the way down, curve it at the bottom, it would be like boobs. But it's more like a clam, I would say, when I first built this. Let's see. But it kind of looks like boobs, doesn't it? Let's see. Over here we have just a random tunnel that I never actually used. And I was supposed to build something off in this direction, but I never actually got around to doing that. We recently did up the walls around here, making it look a lot nicer. Over here we have the Kelvin tunnel. We're going to go check out that before we go over there to the Hex Poly and other projects that we built. Just a random cave there. We built this area a long time ago over here. It has a large area. Whenever I go to this area, it kind of reminds me of like a baseball field for some reason. Don't know why, our little picnic area. Let's see. So we head down into our cave system. And over here we have the Kelvin tunnel. This is where Kelvin died. We kept the lava as it kind of looks kind of cool. And over here we have a bunch of lava that I've yet to get rid of, or I'm keeping, I don't know. And then all of this used to be dirt before the 1.18 corruption. And then here's Kelvin's tomb. He died on this spot fighting a witch in the lava. I was trying to get him out. If I was fast enough, I would have got him out and he would have survived. But sadly, that didn't happen. I think I trapped him under obsidian, I think. Can't remember. It was quite sad when he died. But over here we also have a bit that goes up there. I think I had like something up here. Yeah, like a cave that I was going to work on. I kind of used all the caves that I had available and built stuff in. But I never actually used them for big stuff. I should really build something down here in the future. Over here we have a cave that I was going to use but I never got to use. Here's the Hex Poly project. I was supposed to build a automatic door, but I'm not very good at redstone. I used to be a perfect redstone person back on Minecraft PE, and then I was pretty good at it on PC, and then I lost all the skills like back in like 2016, 2015. So I used to be a pro, and then age hit or something. Over here we have the clay pool project, and it was 2 projects. I first built it halfway, and then I built the rest again afterwards, and then I'm supposed to mine out all of this. But due to the 1.18 corruption, I have to go re-mine it all. Accidentally went and spoiled it a little bit. It's supposed to go the other way. Let's see. As I recently did this wood log on the roof, and it kind of looks quite nice. Okay, off we go here. Oh yeah, over here we have like a random like tree sapling and a sugarcane bit. I remembered that I actually got that idea from a dream. Yes, I get a dream Minecraft. We have Gus Zaro. What's your name? Zagoria, that's it. I think I kind of named you half after Zarko from BBWC. I didn't really like Zarko. They were nice, but they weren't nice sometimes. BBWC is a horrible SP, if you want to know. Terra, and all of that over there is what I built for the panda enclosure. And also back to that BBWC. BBWC, if you're looking it up, it's a horrible SMP. I was on it for a short time, and then I built a wall, and then I started a wall war because they kept breaking my wall. But then I claimed that area first because no one built in that area, and then yeah, it's all, you know that military phrase, that one. Let's see. But over here we have an area that used to be dirty, it's lower, but then I had to rebuild it all, and then I rebuilt this bridge. It's a lot lower than the original one from before with the 1.18 corruption. And I have this tunnel down here that I was going to build something in. We have Stuart the zombie. I had to get him back when the 1.18 corruption happened, but I retrieved him. He wasn't in the same area that he was in before. And then we have all of the woodwork that I've recently done like 50 episodes ago. And that turned out quite well. I'll talk about that area in a second. Over here we have the Bashimi Nabiri Gate project. That turned out quite well, and then the Stone Pyramid project is over there. We're going to go to the Dirty Dirt project. The Dirty Dirt project is this area, and in this area was called the Courtyard, but it's kind of now the Tulip Field project, as it was a big tulip field. And then over here I was supposed to build a underground tree farm. I'm yet to do that. I will be doing that at some point. Either that I'm building it in the Mother's Day project. Over here we have the Stone Pyramid project. We've recently worked on expanding out all the way over there. Here, with a ginormous river. And it turned out quite well. There's ice stone under there, so it turns to water ice. Over here we have our second nether portal. A bunch of junk in here. Pretty sure I've showed most of everything now. Over here we have the tunnel bit that I made in the side. It was the main idea that I had for the longest time. And then I built this little bit of, putting the nature bit in there too. Random bit of, mine shaft that's flooded. And then I built this long cave because I was trying to connect it up with another build, but that didn't really work. Because it was so far away. And I was totally off with maths and all that. Let's see. So that's kind of this area done, I think. And is there anything else to show? Yeah, there is. Up here we have the stairs that I built while I was making it to somewhere near the surface. I think I was connecting it to somewhere else. And I think that concludes the lush cave, I think. I can't remember if there's anything I missed or not. Hopefully I have not missed anything. Let's see. But I'm pretty sure that's the end of the lush cave project. It's quite short now that I think about it. It's large when you're walking, but when you're flying and you're going through it so fast, it's quite small. But there's nothing wrong with having a small build. Or a big build. It is what makes you happy with that build. Okay, well, let's go and head out here so I can do a proper outro. So, hopefully you've enjoyed this episode of me doing a world tour. I'm going to end it on top of this tree that I have here. When I built this tree, I actually had a dream of a kind of idea of this tree. That I built something like this, with like a holder. And I really enjoy that idea. I think we should do more like that, and sometime in the future. But that is our entire world explored for 900 days, over 1,000 days. And it just feels so empty. Feels like we haven't really built much. But then we have built much because, all the builds that we have done. Let's see. It's just, when you're farther away or you're flying over it, it's very small. But when you're there, it's very big. Okay, well, we're going to turn back into survival. So hopefully you've enjoyed this world tour. Have a nice day, safe. Hope those are helpful. Maybe some more shit, need to keep all the vitamins. Very, very important. And bye-bye. See you next time. Have a nice day. See you. Bye-bye.